I'll learn those. Okay, we're going to look into chat here and see. Is that? Oh, here it is. Oh, okay, yes. So
That's the type of
let me
thing.
just share screen again. That's the idea exactly.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. So we saw Gary's animation. I'm going to leave this up a little bit to make sure everything's back. But this is the idea where you would create something that gives it a real sense of the high points of
Not
the animation.
nice. What I might do is like have it as like a gallery and then have the background behind it, like I was talking about. But that works equally well, if not better.
If you're going for that gallery thing, look for this export sprite thumbnail feature and animate.
Okay.
It'll do it. It'll automate the whole thing for you.
Yeah, so you want this page to look distinctive and not busy. And in this case, it's moving from back to front and has a dimensionality with a drop shadow and that sort of thing. So it really uh, puts you in the space. So that's it. It feels like it is legitimately animation. So that's I was looking for another one that I remember, but it was from a few years ago where they did a really good job. Uh, I'll look over the next few days and see if I can find it. So for us, what we probably want to do right now is to look at, for instance, since this one is done, uh, creating the interactivity. Of, I have a feeling that people will start their interactivity before they're finished creating their their spaces, because if Gary's the only one who is at this point, it's really the only one we can show. And if I show it, then uh, others will be. You need to be at this point before you start doing your interactivity. Otherwise, it gets all tangled up. It's a very systematic, kind of tedious, repetitive, and not flashy sort of thing. You just have to make sure, and I do make everything meet the specifications. Uh, and so this would be the place that where you should be before even thinking about making things interactive. And we'll look at the instructions so that you can get a sense of how they go. And let's see, continue to get into yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put this back up again. So this is the idea, folks. You saw about 10 or so other ideas for this. This is a stellar one. And so there are lots of ways to do the animation page. So I'm going to go into here and go get our instructions. and as I was doing this, I was thinking, well, John can't do this on his computer because he has an older version of InDesign. I got my older one sitting over here, same deal. I can't even load the new version on this old computer. So I have a newer, but not as new as you all got. If you got your updated versions recently from Adobe, so you're looking at CC20. So you can't open. Yeah, we can't open your CC20 files in our versions. So we looked at that earlier about the packaging, and so I just wanted to stress that again. So we're going to go down here to look at the instructions. I'll probably see all the typos I made now. But yeah, that's part one, and this is part one plus, if you can. In Canvas, I don't know, John, if you know, when I click enter full screen here in Canvas, I have a very hard time getting back to, it goes all black.
If you hit the escape key, does that get you back out?
No.
That's odd. What if you click on and then hit the escape key? If you click
Well,
on.
I'm going to enter full screen and we'll just try it here. So entering full screen, and I'm going to zoom in. So we're going to see. So this is the place where everyone should be, but I think that everyone's kind of, you created your two designs, it exported as PDF, and so you have your two designs, and you have gathered, you were told back here at the very beginning to gather your 6 project files right here at the very beginning. And if you haven't done that, you can't really start until you do gather your project files. And we looked at a lot of examples, and I talked about if you had corrections, stated corrections, and you didn't fix those, that would be something that is gradable. Because this is a portfolio. So the idea of giving you feedback for how characters, typeface, etc. look, you would want to take that in and make those adjustments to those files so that they look good to your future employers. You carry this forward to your actual real portfolio and remember that that's what you want to do. So this is about creating the two designs and doing your discussion. So you had a discussion. Oh, what is that?
Oh, when Gary had the astronaut helmet, I was about to tell John, you might want to check on Gary. He seems to be spacing out.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going outer. Yeah, I can't see him anymore.
I'm in my son's room and there's all this stuff
Where are
laying
you?
around.
Is that toilet paper in the background?
Yeah.
And it's right side up.
It's the Holy Roller.
It's not backwards this time.
I mirrored
It's
the
a
screen.
new
Thank you,
religion,
John.
the Holy Rollers.
Holy rollers.
They worship the rolls. They put them in their trees made of rolls of toilet paper.
One roll to rule them all.
Yes.
Oh, you're on a roll now.
Oh no, what have we done? We started them up again, Beth. Here we go.
Sorry. Sometimes I just toilet these puns.
I know. Well, there's got to
You
be a
can
hole
'em.
in our story someplace. All right. Yeah, it's painful. It's just, be arrested.
That sums it up.
Okay, so I'm going in and trying to read the discussion posts, many of which I can't see because they're not there. So the discussion posts are right here. Describe your creative process and have your 6 project files saved as and named as renamed as PDFs. Then we come over here and we start our iteration and interactivity. So, the process of iteration is analyzing and refining your design, working and reworking your layout until you get it right. So that's the home page that you're working on. And Nico, are you finished with your home page? Did you decide on your home page? Are you there?
You're muted, Nico. You can unmute yourself.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Nico, do you have your home page that you decided on?
I decided on the planet one, but I have to work on it still. The only
Okay.
one that I have is the one that I sent you previously.
Right. Yeah, so I think that that's where everybody is we're perfecting that home page and making it work out. And these instructions haven't been tested this semester. They worked last semester, but everybody's got a new version of InDesign, or a lot of people do. And so I'm not sure if all of the wording adds up. The main wording, like file formats and stuff like that, does. But the process of fixing up your files is still consistent. So keep going to create your home page and get it in order. And then what you're going to do is go to each one of your, what you should have in your folders is your home page that you're working on, and be organizing your files. So refine and finish your home page design, and file save as, rename the file, last name, final home page .ind, and export as a PDF, and it will be called last name PDF. Save those files to put in your last name folder. So you're keeping a folder going of your final work and putting those things in that folder. And then that folder is going to be, when it's turned in, what is it going to be? It begins with a P. What's that folder going to be?
PDF?
No, it's a word that begins with a P. Starts with P-A. That's why I don't get packaged folders.
Oh.
Yeah, uh-oh is right. So, yeah, so I showed all of that stuff for about 15 or 20 minutes earlier because you need to package them. And I don't think that this has all that in there because this was from package. And I'm going to post the place. Let's try again. Post the package link. I'm writing it down here. All right. Okay, so then you're going to go to each one of your files and you're going to be improving them if they need it. And I'll know because the stuff is still wrong that was corrected in our critiques, then it's still wrong. And so getting these files looking right, and then getting on down here, all the things we talked about, going through all of those portfolios that I mentioned, about taking away the crop marks, about the typeface, the alignment, all of those things that I mentioned out loud as we were going through and looking at those final projects that lost points because they didn't do those things again for their portfolio page. I mean, if it was wrong in the first place, putting it in a portfolio and linking it doesn't make those things right. So I just want proof that you've learned what those things are, and we'll have a chance to look at that next week. So that's something that is important for these guys. And then you are changing their names to these names: characters, typeface, resolution, color, typography, and animation. And I had one question about using harmony instead of the color for the color. But whichever one you use, the name of it is color. So these are the names of the files. And so include all linked graphics used on the home page of your final design layout. So if you have graphics linked in there, then you use those too. So if you have like the self-portrait image in the low poly triangles, that's something you might want to have. You want to make sure that that's in with your file and that you can get it from the, so you created that in Illustrator, I believe, and then, or something like that. So make sure that you have all of your links, and then save a new document, open the InDesign file named last name 2 designs, file save as, and rename the file last name interactive, and save that into your final folder. So you're building up to actually what you're going to do. But since most of you haven't done step 1, then you want to focus on step 1 and make sure it's done so that you have the elements you need in order to do the next part. So then you'd be opening, let's see if we can, it's hard for me to read the instructions and do the thing. So I don't know quite how to, I'm not that skilled yet. John, do you have a suggestion?
Yeah, if you print out the directions, then it'll work.
Well,
It's just a suggestion.
Yeah, well, the directions are there for you to print out. You may print them out.
I can actually read them easier on the screen because my eyes.
I have them on another screen here, but I do want to go over them because this next part of the class is essentially about doing this part. And so,
well, you can have a window open and just showing like 1 or 2 columns of that enlarged, and then the other window can be. I mean, you know.
Okay.
How big is your screen? I'm not sure. Oh, you have an iMac. It should work.
Yeah.
I think it'll work that way.
I'm going to. So I minimized it, but it froze my screen, and that's what's been happening. So this, I can't move this around or
You
no,
can't?
no, I can't move this at all. I I reduced the screen and I can't. So I think that I have to get. Yeah, I can't move it. I can't select
Okay.
the screen that's in front at all. Uh, I was trying to reduce the size of it, but if you're in, where was I, in Canvas, this is what has been happening. So I can go up to uh, Safari and quit Safari, and then the canvas, the frozen canvas screen that's covering everything is gone. So what I would do is right here, we'll see what we can do with this. I would probably then need to get the directions someplace besides Canvas that's going to do that to me. And I can't find them right off the bat. Well, I can go into Canvas and
Can you just open up the directions as a PDF outside of Canvas?
that's, yeah, I was going to do that, but I can't find them on my, so I will go into Canvas and
I know, I can see how many files are on your desktop. I like the way you use it. I like the way you put them around the perimeter. So you have a blank space in the middle. I like that.
This is a sore point, John.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is.
Hey, look, if you've ever seen Claire's desktop, you'll feel really good about it.
I've seen Claire's desktop. I know about Claire's desktop. Let's not just not go there. There's some things that you're out of line.
Nice desktop. It looks great. I love it. Yeah. Best desktop ever. I like it.
There, John.
Right,
Good work.
Okay, the frame is files, and so it's going to be hard to find those because I finished that thing 5 minutes before class started. So got up at 5:55 to do it. So I can have a few don't make fun of my files around here.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so one of the ways that I can get this is to get into dashboard and put it on my after it crashes like that, you have to go back in this way. Okay, so, oops. All right. Okay, so download this. This is download. Okay. Now it should be downloaded, right? Okay. And as we're going through this, thank you, Gary, again, for
Don't worry.
having it at this point. So this is the first part of this is getting this file saved as an interactive PDF. The first part is actually creating a folder on your desktop, and so you want to create a folder on your desktop, and it's going to be called last name underscore final. And then you're going to do file save as, and then we go to last name final over here, and this is going to be then saved as last name interactive. I'm using the universal one, even though it's a Marsh file. Last name interactive, and and it's an InDesign file, and I'm going to save it into the folder here. And now from the Pages panel, flyout menu. So when I get in here into the file, we have there should be two of them. No. And then InDesign, right? So there's the interactive one. And then I'm going to be looking over here in the Pages panel. And right here, I think we've got the right one. So again, going over here to look at the instructions. And it would probably be good to, as suggested, print these out so that you can look more closely at them. This one is no. So,
Yeah, just Command plus, yeah, and zoom in and preview. You can see them.
yeah, I'm just gonna get myself in the right place here. Okay. So I've got this saved as a new file. The page that was not my favorite was deleted, right? Long ago. And so that should be gone. And so this is where you've got your file, and then it's talking about the Pages menu down here. And now got to cinch this down here like this. When you do this in InDesign, the file doesn't freeze up, which is really nice. And then we're looking at our Pages menu here, and I'm looking at this, and after page 1, clicking over here, this is page 1. And this is going to be your page 1 master. And so this is going to be Okay, and now we're going to go over here and then go up to here. Oh dear, there's something left over from, this was not something we did in here. Iteration, we didn't do feedback from the group. I forgot to get that. You just do your own self-critique. And so, ignore feedback from the group. So if you've not already done so on your chosen home page, you'll need to create each text label in its own frame. And before completing your design, ask yourself all of these things about, do you have is it really as good as you think it is? And this one is obviously meets all of these kind of qualifications, the font, the white space. White space isn't white, it's just open space. So in this case, it would be deep blue space. And is all the required content being used? So name the tiny DM and your quote there and the 6 projects, so that all checks out. And then you're going to organize your files from your last name final folder, and then you would go over to the left and see about organizing your files. So again, the files can't be organized until they're fixed up and renamed and so forth. So you'd be organizing your file, and you'd be opening each PDF. After you've fixed it up, you don't make it into a PDF until after in InDesign you've made any changes that need to be made that were based on the critiques in class. And if you can't remember that, you can always ask me. So you can ask me to have a look again about how you can improve that. So then you're going to open your PDF file, each copied PDF file, and save as. When you save as in Acrobat, you'll be reducing the size. Let's see if, oh, that's getting too many apps up here. So you're getting all of these 6 files ready in PDF to be placed on the 6 pages that we're going to look ahead to. So then you're going to drag your files into your last name final folder. So you'll have your final homepage and your 6 final files, and then change the names of the PDF files to match the names of your text labels on page 1 homepage. Or you can just go right over here and match those text labels. They're repeated twice already. So these are what you use, and as you can see in here, these are what you use for your labels. Okay, that said, we're down here at the end. When something is in bold and italic and says this is important with an exclamation point, ignore it at your own risk. So I would pay attention to those. So you're going to be placing your PDFs into the InDesign document, and you've got your last name interactive file open, and use the Pages panel to go to page 2 of the document. I think that we were supposed to actually put pages out here, add pages to the panel, let's just go back over here and click on pages. And when you click on this right here, you can, no, I can't magnify this, but this is the pages panel. And right over here, the three little lines, the hamburger, what's this called, John? The three little lines where everything is, where you're muted. You're muted. So this has a name. John's muted, so he can't tell me right now. Okay.
Sorry, I was muted. I was talking. I think, well, in web design, that's called a hamburger menu, but I think the InDesign calls it an expand
Yeah,
or
in
an
Adobe, they
expand
call it
menu.
something. Remember, we ran into problems with it in.
Isn't it just called expand menu, an expand menu button? I'm not sure.
I don't know, but anyway, that's the place, and you can see there are places to insert pages. So insert pages, and you then it brings up this, and it says insert pages after page. And how many pages are we going to insert? I just need a chorus of two of you.
6.
Say, how many pages are we inserting? How many PDF files? Yeah,
6.
right. That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Same amount I have on each foot. 6.
I worry that I get, this zooming thing is hard. So click on 6 pages and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages after your home page. That's what, and I'm clicking back on my home page, double clicking on it. A single click didn't do it. And so this is where all of your fixed up PDFs are going to go. And when you have, let's see, Gary's PDFs are in a folder somewhere around here. So I'm not sure quite where they are. Let me just see if I was trying to kind of put them out on the top. Let's go look in here by date. And no, I thought I had them in the open space up here.
If you search for them in Finder, and you use 5-5-20.
5-5-20.
Yeah, that's why I'm in that folder, today's date, starting with that anyway.
Okay.
For ease of access.
Or what?
For ease of access.
It's not Marsh.
Now, it should start with 5-5-20.
20 like that. Are you seeing that? Is it that?
That's it.
Okay. Okay. And I'm going to look on the search. Oh, this is in there. I need to search out here. Sorry. Okay. Oops.
I just saw it. There it is.
Okay. All right.
And you have that other thumbnail too, the PDF I sent you, the animation one, if you want to use it. Not that it matters.
Okay. So these are the final asset files, and this is the Marsh Final Designs file, and so the first one is for the character, and so when I go here and I go back to here and then go back to here, you're going to not create buttons, but you're going to be putting your files in these places. So right here, I'm going to click on this page, and then I'm going to need to place the image on that page, or I can go over here and copy and paste it on that page. But I'm going to go to a file place, Command D, and I'm going to be in the arrow tool and not in the type tool, Command D, and then I'm going to go to this should be on the desktop. Is it? Oh no, it's in downloads. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to get it over here on the desktop. And I don't need the rest of it. I'll get it on the desktop. Okay. So then I'm going to place this file, and so I'm going to zoom out a little bit, Command minus, so I can see the perimeters of my page right here. And I'm going to click on it, but I really do want to see the whole page. There we go. So I'm looking at the whole page. One of the things that you'd want to do is to create a center line on your page and have this pink margin doesn't print, but have a place where you can turn off the margins. They all come on by default, so you can eliminate margins. But I like to get into my rulers here and get into inches. And so this is that half of this you'd be looking at. So this is something right around. Another way to find half of it is to go to do this, and the halfway point is right here at the little square, and you can put this halfway point on all these pages, or you can make them for each page. But on the master page, you could put so that's a little, so that you could put a rule right here on the master page, and then when you go to these pages, it's on all of those pages. And so I'm going to littleize this. So let's make this object, make it a little bit smaller here. So let's make it back to its original size. Original size. And do it again. So for this one, what I would be doing is getting it in the place that I want it, the center point to be. One of these selects, and I'm going to get rid of that. So I'd want this to be, the top of this to be at the center point. And then I'm going to make this center point and reduce the size of the image by going in here, locking these together and locking these vertical and horizontal and vertical, and bringing this down to size, and then shift command, what is it? Fit content proportionally. So in object fitting, you can fit your content proportionally, and in this case, you may use that center line to center everything. You can also use it to enlarge things, so that if you want to enlarge away from that point so that everything lands in that point, each image, so they're not jumping up and down or side to side. So that's something that you can go back in and tweak. But I'm going to go to the next one now. And the next one, then I'm going to do a command D to place this, got characters in here, and we've got typeface, and I will start by first putting the center of it right up here, and I don't want them to jump up and down either, appear to jump up and down, so I would leave that center there, and then I would go up to my horizontal and vertical, and I've got them locked together. Over here on the left is the, again, the origin point, the reference point right here. And so I'm aligning the centers of these to the center of that line. And there may be some other instructions in the written instructions about this, but you want to make it so that things don't appear to hop up and down between times when you're looking at these. So we can test these, and I'm going to, when these vertical and horizontal are locked together, then that's chained together. This is broken when the line's through it, so this is locked. And so then I can bring this to a point where I can go back and look at this one and see how this feels. So if you were to put them however on the page, they would sort of jump back and forth and they wouldn't look super great. So you want to be aware of that. So I'm going to go to my next page, and I'm going to do Command D again to place the next file. And you get to place these files once they're in good condition. So placing a file that has the same errors in it that it had when you did it back then would not be a good way to go. So I would fix those. So again, the center point of this image is right there on that center point. You can either use this guide or make another smaller margin guide around the outside. Again, those don't print out. On your keyboard, usually on the lower right side are those little Utcher keys for moving things a smidge left and right. And then the Shift W shows the screen so that you can see how things are sitting on the screen. And I've got my little Sharesies mini down here and my weird mouse. I want to get that out of the way so I can see it. So that's looking good. And then, so I can go back and then, oh, huh. I thought that Shift W was going to do it, but it's not.
Do you have like a dialog box open maybe that's dumping it, or?
Yeah, probably. I'm just trying to get out of here now. It's just the Shift W is supposed to reduce that. I get that. Command 0, Shift W. Okay, it worked that time. So I did a Command 0 first and then a Shift W. Okay, so I'm to my next page and then Command D to bring the item over. And so this is the one where in here you could just do this and it's not behaving as well as it would with so that you could be looking at this. I would probably go and trim those off in InDesign before bringing it over. So everybody who has this, because they're not necessarily the most, and I would make it should be doing it right here, right now. So I'm not sure. Object fitting, fit frame proportionally. There are all these ways of fitting frame to content. Yeah, so I would get the for everyone who has those trim marks on crop marks, I would do that. It should be doable right here without making the file smaller. Also, Shift W lets you see the file in a higher resolution, but Shift W would, let's see if it works. It toggles good. So Shift W. So when I say a keystroke combination 3 or 4 times, then you want to have your pencil poised to write that down so that you can use it. So it's not always obvious where it is. So, but Shift W will make your view of this screen sharper. But to make it run faster, it makes it blurry so that you're not having to rewrite that information over and over again. So then we have our last one here. And so I'm going to place, and that is what? What is the keystroke combination for placing a file that you wrote down earlier? That you're going to write down now? Command D. Command D. Command D. It takes you to the place where you can get the file that you're going to double click on and open on the screen, and then you drop it into place. Now, sometimes it's going to be really big like this, and so that you would then put your center point up to the line special place that you made to show where the center point is, and then you go over to your reference point over here that you created, and then you would go to your uh, scaling area here, so that you would be scaling uh, constrained proportions, so that everything is shrinking up into that top center point. So you start littleizing. You can you hit the down arrow on either side when you're locked together here. If you didn't have them both locked together, it would be distorting it. So, and you might decide that you want it to be just a smidge larger, and you kind of want it to be looking like it starts in the same place. I'm not sure how it'd look if I bring it down here, still centered, but if you go here like that and you go here, you would want to compare that. You might decide that you indeed want everything centered, in which case you look at what the height of this is, and it's easier to see fatter increments. So it's 11, so it's 5.5 is the center that way. So if you were interested in truly centering it, you would be going here to center it on the vertical and center it on the horizontal, and you'd compare what they look like by going here, going there, double clicking on the pages, and it probably wouldn't look great if this one was jumping down. Again, how do I see this more clearly? What keystroke combination do I use that I said for you to write down to see it more clearly?
Command W. Command W.
Shift W.
That's what I meant.
I knew that's what you meant. So that's why we reviewed it just then. So Shift W, and this would be a way that if you're showing a PDF portfolio, this is what the person who's looking at would want to do. And it's supposed to toggle, and it did. And so this would be, you'd be having all of your destination pages here, and then you need to link them. So you would be going over to make sure, go down here. So we've dragged all of our six pages in, and we've placed them, and a file place, you can do it from the menu too. You want to show your computer path to your last name final folder. Then you've got your characters in there. So we've got all of that, all of those pages in there. Free transform is something they make with these instructions show a lot of, but my feeling is that you probably won't be needing to transform and rotate your images in the portfolio pages. I think that having something that doesn't dance around too much is really the most uh, appropriate way to have your pages. So this, but the center, to center the graphic exactly, use align to page function. So we didn't have to really use that. We just made it alignment, the center align to align them, and then applied it to all of the pages. And so we had that there as a consistency. So these are some other reminders about different ways to keep alignment if you need them. So the purpose of this project will refer to secondary pages of your document as pages that contain the PDFs. And the home page will be page 1. The main page that the user sees first, and this will be the page that all your text has all your text labeled, which will be converted to buttons that will link the secondary pages. Create a home button. Create a home button on page 2 of your document. So I'm looking at the type that is up here, and I'm looking at this type right here. So I want a type that's probably in keeping with that type. I might just copy that DM1 down there. And so I'm going to go to up to here and just see if it has anything more to say about that. So I'll do one of the ways that I do it. So I've decided that let me go back and look again after I preached to you about, so I would probably want actually my home button to be down in the lower left. And so I'm going to get just do a Command V for paste. Command V. Oh, it went in the middle of the screen. And copy that and go over here and get this view Command V to paste. Then I'm going to go down here to the bottom, and then I'm going to make that a little bit darker color. Double click on my type there, and so you decide on a color that's not too outrageous, that kind of feels sort of right with your image. Not huge and black, probably not real dark. And then I'm going to do Shift Command greater than and make that larger, and then do HOME down there. And so I'm going to just click up here and do a Shift W. So I might beef up the home slightly, but this is more like, once they know that that's home, then they'll know that that's home. So I'm going to do what they say here. I might make it just a smidge darker. Go into, just double click on the color here and maybe make it a little darker, kind of in keeping with the theme. Maybe just or I could go and color it up. I could do like add swatches. May want to add that as a swatch. So I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to copy that, go to the next page, and Shift Option Command V to paste in place, so you can go to the menu to find out what those keystrokes are, or paste in place from the menu. So I go to the next one and whoops. Get back here. I was pasting it in place over the top. Shift Option Command V. All right. You might do this too. This home. Okay. Get that back. I'm double clicking on the corner here to cinch that down. So copy. I forgot to copy first, so I was just pasting it in place over and over again. So I make sure I get on this page. Shift Option Command V. Get on this Shift Option Command V. Get on this page. Shift Option Command V. What was on that page? Remember, Gary?
No, I don't. I didn't see what you placed on that page. I mean, it would be in the numbered order of your
Yeah.
title.
So
That should be the typeface work, right?
yeah.
I don't know.
So
Yeah. let me see.
Command V, and so it was right after
Resolution?
color.
You've got resolution after typeface.
Color, yeah,
Color. Oh, color. There you go.
yeah. So then, since we've got
The number 6 is that one, I think. The next page. You're missing the typography.
oh yeah, I see, yeah. Is it,
I think, yeah, the typography.
typography, thank you. And this one is another one that we want to maybe set up so that it doesn't have the,
Get rid of the crops.
yeah,
Got it.
but it doesn't work like that for some reason. The PDF doesn't crop the same way. So then I'm going to do a Shift W here just to show that, you know, home can be a good size. I probably want to turn that a little bit. The OME needs to be a little bit, you know, I would probably fiddle with that a little bit. But you don't want home to be big with a frame around it and all of that kind of stuff, because you've got something like this on the page that you want to focus on. So you don't want your attention immediately pulled away from the image on the portfolio that you want your client to look at, so that you would have a subtle home. And this isn't activated yet, so we can't use it to go home yet, but that's the next step. And so I'm going to try to do a Shift W here, and that worked this time. And so you would be wanting to then go in here and paste and place the button onto the same location of each remaining secondary page. This button will take the user back to the home page of your interactive PDF. Click on and this is the one that may have changed in InDesign. I hope not. So click on the buttons, and I haven't been in here for a long time, so we would probably find it in here. Mhm.
What are you looking for on the menu?
Buttons,
Button. I think it's under, it's not under,
buttons and forms panel.
yeah, under window.
I thought
And
so.
then, oh no, it's not under window.
No, it's not.
Uh, wait, hmm.
Oh, wait, just get back on here.
You're not in, there you go. Now you're in InDesign.
Yeah, I thought it was in here.
Interactive, under interactive.
Yeah, okay. It's interactive
Yeah, there it is.
buttons
Yeah.
and forms. So that's a mistake in the instructions. It should say have a word interactive before buttons and forms.
Actually, I thought that was in there because I saw that. Maybe somewhere else it has window interactive.
Maybe it did earlier, but it
Because I
didn't.
saw that in there before.
Well, there you go.
That's how I found it.
So interactive buttons and forms.
Yeah, window interactive buttons and forms.
Yeah, so this is assuming that that instruction has been, maybe that's when as I was working on this, I didn't read it in detail, word for word. So, or that may not have been there. So it does say interactive buttons and forms right there.
Thought it was in there, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, so I go to interactive, but I get over to here. Then I go to window, window interactive, buttons and forms, like that. And then it brings up buttons and forms for me right here. And I'm going to try to get this up here where you can all see it. Set up destinations for interactivity. We're going to use the method that involves making each page in the document a destination. Then we'll link our buttons to those destinations. Working on the home page, use the selection tool to select the text label that you want to convert to a button. So choose the Convert to Button icon at the bottom of the Buttons panel. Note you will not see the Convert to Button icon as active unless you select a text frame with the selection tool. So we are setting up destinations for interactivity, and in a while since we've done this, and I hope I've got everything on here I need.
Oh, I realize we're a bit over time, just so you know. So.
Oh, okay.
But it does say in there the window interactive forms.
We're going to test this out. This is the next step. You can't even do this until you get your home page up. I heard something that said something about window and forms, but it sounded like an off-world voice.
Oh, no, I'm just saying it is in there. It says in the parentheses after what you were reading, it says window interactive buttons and forms.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I see that. But we're at this place here. We're past that.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're here.
I know. I just realized it is in there. I saw it though. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So that we're when does our class end?
15 minutes ago. 220.
So it's kind of not.
Beth, I'm not hearing you. Are you? I'm not hearing you right. Something's wrong with our connection.
Starting here with a little review of the part we just did.
Beth, the last minute you were talking, it sounded really weird. I couldn't understand you.
He's trying to talk with that in and out sound.
I think we're losing our connection. It's not. I don't hear you right.
The last what?
The last minute you were talking, I couldn't understand it.
Oh, I don't hear you right either.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, your voice is
Yeah,
breaking
it's
up
like
in and
robots
out, too,
on keyboards here.
Well, now I can understand people. For a minute there, I couldn't.
Yeah, well, we should have been over. Yeah, something you get to the point where you need to have your home page ready to go and all of your 6 pages ready to go, and then you can get to this point. And it would be nice if next week we would all be starting right about here in step 8, and we could move forward, but you need to have done all of the things that we just did.
So everybody needs to get up to step 8.
Yeah. And so then that's just the beginning of the interactivity, where you create the interactivity in the home button and then place it. Oh, good. I like that. Spaceman.
I think he's saying that we sound like spacemen and women.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we got more than we planned on.
This is good.
But it's important that you have all of those things in mind as you're working. So attention to detail, and we'll be ready to start off next week, and I'll be looking for.
Uh-oh, you froze.
For your files,
Okay,
the questions. And please send your questions to both John and me, just to make sure they get answered. I can't answer everything.
Thank you, guys. Beth, thank you for all the hard work refining the document. John, appreciate it.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, it's sounding pretty weird. I think we should end this.
Yeah, I'm glad we got something to work with.
Okay, everybody. You know what to do.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Flashback.
Thank you. See you next week.
You guys take care.